Okay, today we're going to talk about circumference and area of a circle. It is so important that you have your calculator. You cannot do these without a calculator, so make sure if you don't have it out, go get it. What we're going to calculate today is the circumference and the area. Okay, so up here I put kind of like a little diagram. It's not kind of, it is. The circumference is if we were to measure all the way around the circle. Okay, or if we were to cut it and then unroll it, how long would that string be? Okay, and just as a reminder, the radius is from the center to the circle, so that's halfway across. The diameter is all the way across the circle. So radius is half, diameter is all the way across. So the first thing we're going to calculate is our circumference. Okay, and circumference is pi times the diameter. Okay, circumference is pi times the diameter. So what we want to look at is, let's look at this, actually let's do this example first. So circumference is pi times the diameter. So what's the diameter of this circle? It's 25, right? All the way across is 25. So on your calculator, pi is this little number right here. Okay, oh, you can't even see my finger. That would be helpful. Pi is this right here, times the diameter is 25. We're going to round to the tenths place. So our circumference is 78.5. Let's say all of these are inches. Okay, so all we did was multiply pi by the distance all the way across our circle. Pi times diameter. Okay, so look at this one. Do I know the diameter all the way across? No, I can figure it out, right? I know that if 14.5 is the radius, okay, halfway across, I can just do it times 2. And now I know that all the way across my circle is 29. So when I'm plugging it into my formula, circumference equals pi times 29. So pi times 29, I'm going to round it to the tenths place, would be 91.1 inches. Okay, so it's pi times diameter, which is all the way across the circle. So why don't you pause it and do the bottom two for circumference, and then we can check your answer. Okay, so circumference is pi times 10, because 10 is all the way across the circle. So pi times 10 is 31.4 inches. Okay, and on this last one, if it's 11 halfway across the circle, all the way across is going to be 22. So circumference would be pi times 22. Pi times 22. Rounded to the tenths place, 69.1 inches. So for circumference, all we're doing is pi times the diameter, all the way across. So now, let's talk about the area. Okay, and the area, if you look up at the top, I have A equals pi times radius squared. Okay, so pi times the radius, which is halfway across, squared. So let's do this first example. So area of this circle is going to be pi times the radius is 14.5 squared. So we're not squaring pi, we're squaring the radius. So pi times 14.5, and then to square something on this calculator, right next to the 7, there's a little button that says x squared. Can you see that? Right there. And that's what we're going to push. And you're going to hit enter, and it's 660.5. So area is 660.5 inches squared. Area is always a squared unit. Just like when we were doing triangles, trapezoids, all of that, anytime it's area, it's squared. Okay, so let's do this one. Okay, in this case, we don't know the radius, right? We're given the diameter. So on your calculator, type in 25 divided by 2. So that means if I were to cut this in half, the radius is 12.5. So the area is pi times the radius squared. So pi times 12.5, I hit that squared key. So 490.87, 7 is 5 or more, so it raises the score. So 490.9 inches squared. And then let's find the area of the bottom two circles. So area is pi times the radius. If 10 is the diameter, what's the radius? 5. So pi times 5 squared. 78.53. The 3 is not 5 or more, so area would be 78.5 inches squared. And then the last one, area is pi times the radius, which is 11 squared. So pi times 11 squared, 380.1 inches squared. And that's it. So just make sure that when you're doing area, that you're writing it as a square unit. And when you're writing circumference, you're just writing it as a single unit, right? Because circumference is measuring length, right? We're measuring how far around the circle is it. And area, we're measuring how many square units would that circle take up. Oops. So there you go.